Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm back. Thank you guys for joining me again for another RHCSA tutorial. Today, we're going to learn some concepts around finding things in a Linux system. Like we're going to use commands like we're going to use two commands, grep. We're going to use grep to find important information and files here. So, as you guys have followed my previous videos, we're continuing with the kind of John Wick theme. So just to set the tone here, something's happened in the Continental. You know, the lights flicker in the Continental server room. There's a marker that glows red on the console, and it's a sign that a priority alert has been issued. Winston's panicking. Winston's angry, trying to figure out what's going on. So he says, someone's triggered the high level communication. He wants to find out who and why. So he issues a marker. He contracts John to find he wants to find what the who breached the server. He wants to locate all things that are marked priority. So before we do that, if you followed my LinkedIn post, I had posted a script that will build the environment. So let's go ahead and let me show you that real quick. I'm not going to get into a deep dive of what it does, but it goes more in detail in my article. I'll link it in the post. Um, see here. Mission setup. Here it is. All right, this is just my mission setup. This will deploy all the files and permissions and everything. It will set up basically my whole lab environment, what I'm going to show today. But if you're really curious and want to know more detail, I did post this in LinkedIn. If you can go on my profile and look at it. And I have it linked to a Medium article. So if you're interested, just go ahead and check this out. But enough of that. Let's escape. So we're in BIM. So let's semicolon WQ. All right, let's go ahead and run the script here. All right, let me find my command here. Oh, no, I don't need that. Just start and mission setup. Mission setup. Relation lines we're going through. As you can see, it's just going building out the environment. So, all right. So everything's successfully deployed. So let's clear. All right. So as I stated before, so the Continental's been broken into. Someone has access to certain priority communications. Winston enlists John to find out. So let's start off here and find any lines containing priority. So in order to find that, we're going to use grep. Oh, sorry about that. We're going to use grep and in quotes anything priority. Let's use if my spelling is off today. Priority. And going to look in /var, /log, /continental, and comms.log. So as you can see, we have two files here. Priority here shows the marker issued, priority contract update. So this is what we found. We have two accounts that alerts that exist. So let's see how many. Well, if you want to find out the count, you just go ahead and in front of, we know it's two counts, but let's use the -C option for count. Control E for the end of the line. We have two counts. That's how if you want to find the number of counts, but we see that here. So that's how you do that. So our next mission here. So just to set the scene for you. So a whistle travels back through the hotel. You know, it's saying someone says he's back. He's back. You can access the log searching for any trace of John Wick's presence. And I'm sorry for about that earlier, guys. Winston was to find out. Apparently, John has the one. I'm sorry, John is the one who actually broke into it, but sorry about that. So they're saying he's back. We can access the logs. Want to find any trace of John's presence. So basically, if Sharon, which is if you know the movies, is Winston's kind of you always see when everybody walks up to the Continental, he's kind of like the concierge person. So he goes, he asks, he says, if Mr. Wick has passed through the logs, I'll tell you. So we're going to search through the Continental logs that mention Wick. So in order to do that, we're going to type grep. All right. You can have dash 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 R and wick slash var. Oh, oh, didn't mean to do that. Slash var slash var slash var log and continental. So we found out that Wick was sighted in New York, and he entered the Continental. So we see that he entered. There's a record showing that we see this right here. So, or you can use another option here if you want. You can use a capital R here, capital E. Again, same information, but so we know we know that he was sighted here in New York. We know John Wick entered. So how about this? Let's try to see if we find any file names that have Wick So let's go same type option. So we're going to add an L in this option, and we're going to capital E. All right. So if you want to just learn the files here, look, this is where he's access to these files here that has him in there. So we finished that. We accomplished it. We know Wick was here inside New York. We know he's entered the continent. We know he had access to the files. So these commands are telling us this he was sighted here. So now we're going to take a look at the guest ledger. So the guest ledger sits open on a polished marble desk. You flip through the entries. You have assassins, managers, ghosts of the underworld. Winston nods. He says, every arrival tells a story. Begin and start at the end. Begin at the start and to the end. So he says, Sharon, he says, your task is inspect first and last names of the guest log. So what we're going to do is clear. So we're going to learn another command, the head command. So the head command, typically by default, we're going to see the first like 10 lines of the 10 lines. And the other command, tail, you're going to see the last 10. So let's start with the head, and we're going to learn a new option, -n for number 2. All right, /var. /var /log /continental and guests. Oh, I mean to capitalize that. Guest log. Well, we have 2 people that entered. John Wick entered and Winston entered. All right. So we know that. So we just number 2. So this is just showing, remember, head count is no, we just want to minimize the first 2 entries. So this is what the command is. So we use an option for number and the number 2 for the for how many entries we want to search for. So let's say we want to look at the last 2 entries. So you do a control A to the beginning of the line, and we write in another command tail, similar to that. So control E, and Santino and 0 are the last 2 entries of the most recent of the Continental. So let's try another command. So let's do a word count and list. We want to list the word count or count the total entries. So we use WC -L. All right, let me be backspace here, and let's do this. Let's WC -L flag, control E for the end, and there we go. We have 5 entries in total. So we accomplished that. So we know that John and Winston were the first 2, Santino and 0 was the last 2 to enter, and we know there's a total of 5. So our next mission, we're going to call this the surveillance cache. So deep in the operations wing, you'll find encrypted surveillance footage. You're going to find heavy, oversized files that only the high table should have access to. So Sharon, Winston's concierge says these files, someone wanted them hidden. So he said, so Winston just says, look, your next task will be to locate the large surveillance files stored in the /opt/ops directory. So our mission is we're looking to find files larger than 50 megabytes. So in order to do that, let's clear. Oh, it's like a clear screen. We're going to use another new command called find. So I'm going to find /opt/ops, and then we're going to force type flag and F for file, and we want to find the size. So in order to put the size parameter in here, so we're going to use a flag. We're going to use the size. We type in size, and then remember plus 50 M. So this is what we found. We found 2 files here that are over 50. Footage1-.bin and footage2.bin. So if we want to show the sizes of these files, you want to type in, just pay attention here. It's find /opt ops, and we're going to same thing. We want to know the type, so we're looking for files. So we want to split at least the type and F, and we want to know the size, which is plus 50. Oh, push plus 50 M, and then so what this command is going to do is we're using the find command. We got the parameters that we want to find, but then we also want to list in human readable format. So we could do this in 2 commands, but we're going to do this in 1 command. So after this, we're going to type -exec. This exec will then we'll find the files, but then exec will list those in the human readable format. So in order to do this context is we use ls-lh and curly braces, and then you always want to end these lines with a / semicolon, and boom. Pass must precede expression. ops type. I did that right. I did. I think I did. As must proceed expression. Hmm. OT type F size. Interesting. Hmm. That's exact. Not sure why that's not working. It should be working. Yeah, it should be working. Find OTP. Ops. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see here. Dash ops. Let's type F. Make sure oh, I'm missing the size. Okay, gotcha. All right, there it is. This happens sometimes. Not get everything on the first go around, but Control E. All right, so there it is. So this one is the first file footage one is 16 megabytes, and the footage two is 80 megabytes. So we accomplished that mission. This is what we wanted to find. So let's move on to the next one. So our next mission is just to paint it. So we identified the operatives. So two operatives, Santino and Zero, have left traces in the system. Their digital footprints are scattered across the slash OPT and slash ops directories. So Winston raises his eyebrow. He says, "Look, find what they touch, find what they'd access, and he knows these Zero and then Santino. If you watch the movies, very sleazy guy. He's so we know that they're not at the best intentions. So let's locate the files for each operative. So let's clear again. So we're going to use the find command. So let's use the find command. So we're going to go to find. Remember, we want to go into the slash opt slash ops, and we're going to specify the user Santino. So we know, Santino has been into these two files, C2s right here, that they're owned by him. So let's find files owned by Zero. So we're going to take here and we're going to choose zero, zero, zero. So these are two Z1 and Z2. We found out those are owned by Zero. So let's show the permissions. Let's show the permissions for Zero and then for Santino. So it's kind of the similar syntax of when we wanted to list in human readable format. So let's do this. So let's find. We want to find slash opt ops, and we want to specify the user, and Santino. All right, Santino, and then again, this is where we use the exec flag option here. So we're going to exec. So this will run the ls command, which ls-l, which will show us the long listing of it, and you'll be able to see permissions L. And always when you run these commands here, this is the syntax. You want to close with the curly braces, slash, and then semicolon, semicolon. Oh, nope, no, yeah, colon. Oh, I think I mistyped something again. So let me see what I did wrong. So I want to find command, find opt user. Did I write? Put that in correct. Santino / exec ls - l. Okay. Oh, the space. Yeah, I think it's a space here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't needed a space at the end. So we know that Santino has read write to the file. The group has read, and everyone else has read. So let's do the same for 0. So we're just gonna replace the name here. Same syntax. So we're gonna say 0. Control E for the end of the line. All right. Same thing. He has read write. The group has read, and the everyone else has 0. So this is what we wanted to accomplish. We want to know what permissions that they have showed. We just want to show their permissions that they have on their own, that the files that they owned. All right. So next, we know. So we're going in. So we want to go to the next. We want to mission. We want to go to the contract vault. So to give you some context, so behind a locked steel door lies a contract vault. So it's a place where agreements are written, sealed, and sometimes erased. So Winston says walks towards the vault. He says some contracts are meant to be found, others are meant to remain buried. So as we all know, the world of John Wick and the high table very secretive. So very secretive. So he makes this very curious why he makes this statement. So he says to Sharon, let's determine which contract is open and secure the vault. So we want to identify the open contracts. So let's clear again. We're going to use the grep command again. And we're going to use a -R flag for recursive because this will search everything in its directories and content. So we want to find as much as we can. So we want to specify open contracts. All right. So reason why we put this in quotes is we want to make sure this is all one word. So we want to search this in the secret and /contracts. Maybe I did that wrong. Oh, that's why. Contract. I'm not going to find an open contract right there. All right. So we have one open contract. So this is an open contract. So we found the open contract. So let's restrict access to let's just restrict access to this. So we know let's go ahead and restrict the contents of this open contract. So let's first see what the permissions are in this open contract. So we're going to do ls-l /secret /contract secret /contract. So everyone can read the open contract. They can't write to the owner of the contract should be root, but this says specified Winston. So the owner can read write to these open contracts, the secret contracts. A group can read, and everyone else can read, but we don't want any groups to read, and we don't want others to read. So in order to accomplish this, is we're going to type in the following command to do this. So if you learned in previous videos, whenever we want to change permissions on a direct, let's say specify here a directory, we're going to use chmod, and we're going to use numerical notation. We're going to do 700, meaning we're going to have rewrite execute for the owner, and everyone else is not going to have any permissions on there. So we're going to have a slash secrets slash contracts dash contracts. Boom. So let's verify. Oops. Mm, oh, did not do that right. So let's go ahead and stage mod and let's do it. So let's do, say we're gonna use user plus user plus, we're gonna have the execute bit, comma, all right, G minus R slash O minus R, and there we go. So let's list what we have. Should not have, should have removed that from the secret contracts. So that's ch mod, all right, 700 slash secrets, all right, slash contract. Ah, I think I know what I did wrong. All right. All right. So that will give no one, that will give no one that. So, all right. So our next part we want to do is, so we want to go into the evidence locker. So the evidence locker contains sensitive materials, items that could be toppled, aliases, or ignite wars. Sharon and says, hands the keys and says, only those with clearance may enter. So our task is we want to search the home slash evidence directory. So let's set the permissions on here. So it's clear. All right. So we're going to ch mod, ch mod, and then no parent 750, 750. So this is going to be read write. The owners have read write execute. The group's going to have read and execute, and everyone else is going to be 0. So let's go here slash home slash evidence. All right. So want to verify here. All right. Oh. All right. So let's see here. All right. What is my ls? Okay. All right. Never mind. Let me see. Having a brain fart today, guys. Nuts. Oh, got it. All right. Dash. Okay. All right. All right. So remember, this is what we added. So this is the directory. So this is just to verify what we just did on the previous command. All right. This is we want to verify the permissions on the evidence locker. So so we want to create some fail safes here. So Winston orders us to we want to reset this continental protocol. So we all know every system needs a failsafe. So if the continental is ever compromised, we must be able to wipe its digital footprint clean. So, you know, he always makes these final famous quotes. So kind of added one in here. So he always says like sometimes, hey, even sanctuaries must sometimes be rebuilt. So our task is to understand how to safely remove, let's say to safely remove all resources, but we're not going to do that quite yet because we have one more thing we want to trace. We want to trace the intrusion. We want, you know, we always hear in the terms in the John work world excommunicado. If you know who excommunicado is, like if you break rules of the high table or the continental, like for example, if you do any assassination duties or work inside the continental grounds, you become excommunicado, which means they can put a hire contract out on you for a hit contract on you forever, how many amount of money it is. So let we want to find we want to find the word excommunicado in these logs. Um, so this means that it means like when someone's excommunicado means hey, they must did something really bad to break rules in high table. So we want to find every place that appears in any of the files because these are very important. It's very important we find this. So we want to search the entire system for that word. So in order to do that, so let's clear. So we want to grep. All right, remember -R for recursive. So we want to find everything. So we're going to put in quotes here. We want to be specific. We want to be X com. I'm gonna butcher communicado, but communicado. Yeah, communicado, and then we're gonna specify the source. We're going. All right. So, and we want to use a different flag here. We want to exclude. Want to exclude um, the following directories. All right. So we want to equal, then curly braces, and then we want to specify the proc slash system slash, the comma and dev, and then another, and then we want to send the standard error. We want to send the standard error, not output to, well, starting error to, we're gonna direct that to the dev slash null directory. So in order to do standard numerical value for standard error would be 2, and we're going to use the direct redirect, and then we're going to slash uh, slash dev slash null. Let's see what I did here. Did I do that correctly? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't need a space here again. So, excommunicado, grep, X. See if I spelled that right. Oh, communicado. Excommunicado. All right. So maybe I didn't do that correctly. All right, it's searching. We're trying to find the word excommunicado. It's in these, it's locating in it. So we found it. So it's in, so in this syntax, we're not including the proc slash sys slash dev. So we're looking here and we noticed that so far in the search, we found it in the .bash history file, and then we found it in the comms log of the X word excommunicado. So let's just control C here. Now, so so this is, I hope this was helpful. So in order to do that, we want to clean up, we want to, as I stated before, what Winston said, sometimes we have a fail safe. If something happens, we might need to do a reset. We need to tear stuff, we need to tear this something down. So I'm going to show what we're going to do here. So I have a script here, a tear down script to do that. So we're going to so let's I'm gonna put dot slash what did I do? Mission uh clean up. Clean up. So running this script, all the files and mission files. So we're look at it as we're resetting, we're tearing down the Continental, and then we're going to rebuild it back up. So we're going to wait till this gets done completing. It's just cleaning everything we have. So let's clear. All right. So just do running ls dash L. All right. So we have really no files in here. Um, we have some secrets left, but it's not important. But we cleaned all the major files, important files that we have. But thank you guys so much for. I just wanted to hope the video wasn't too long. I just wanted to. It's a pretty critical part of RHCSA, being able to find important information using the grep find command, learning how to find things using certain expressions, certain keywords. So that's. But thank you guys for staying tuned, and thank you guys. You guys have a great day, and catch you on the next video.